Xiangfei's notable normals starting from lights are Crouch A and Stand A. Especially far A as a double hit, so you can confirm into overhead into puffball. And Crouch A into Stand A into overhead into puffball. It's also a pretty easy link, pretty like comfy link. Far B is your usual far anti-hop and also a poke starting at 5 frames. Jump B, or better, up B, is probably the best cross up B in the game. Super active, super annoying, very well angled low, great normal. Jump C and especially hyper up C are great to interrupt those pesky air to air and air to ground 2-in-1 moves such as Kazumi's jump D or Kei's jump D. Jump D is very far and has great range. A little bit like Benimaru, where the hitbox and the hurtbox are almost disjointed. And Jump CD is a little bit shorter in range, but makes up for the range with speed. Crouch D is one of the best sweeps in the game, mostly because of the very long range, so it's great for tripping. Crouch C is your anti-op instead of close A at close range, mostly because you can cancel it into different things. And Stand CD is deceptively active to the point that like you think the move is finished and it will stay here if you time it right. There we go. Close D is also a great normal, mostly because of its active frames. It's a bit hard on air wake up timing, but yeah, doing close D into heavy fireball will help you with the corner pressure. And Far A is also great because it has a lot of range and a lot of active frames for an overhead. You cannot super cancel it, so you cannot do Far A into A plus C super, but you can do Far A into bypass into Far C super. So yeah, pretty good to open up the opponent with an overhead into a super conversion. Xiangfei specials, starting from probably the best one and the one that most people think when they think about Xiangfei, is Puffball. Very, very far range. It can be made even better by Stand CD like Kara cancelling or Sweep Kara cancelling. Both the A version and the C version are incredible. The C version is so active that you can meaty people for a lot of frame advantage, and you can also like get super conversions from a meaty or DP conversions too. Then moving on, we have the command grab, the rolling command grabs. They look bad, right, to start with, mostly because they take a lot of time to be active, but they can be inserted into a lot of like tick throws and setups, even on hit. So you can experiment with these, and they can be good at beginner to low to intermediate level. You're only gonna struggle to land them when people know about alternate guard and can use it. So I wouldn't recommend to use them against people that can use alternate guard. DP is actually pretty great, but not as a reversal. So you want to meet people in the air. It has a huge hitbox. And if you do A plus B for the light DP and A plus D for the heavy DP, they do actually more damage. So this is normal DPs, right? And then I'm gonna do the powered up version D with A plus B and A plus D. So as you can see, more than the first one and more than the second. The parry is really good, but only the up one. So you press a button, and within 4 frames you wanna tap up, and it will go into a parry animation, right? This is especially useful against like jump these and super jump these, or any kind of jump. It can be used as a reversal to beat safe jumps. When you know people are here, when you're waking up, you can wake up with parry. More interestingly, if you use the parry while in max mode, you can cancel into this after the parry to get the last hit to hit. Well, all the 3 hits, but the last hit will wall splat, and which will allow you to juggle this one. The other 2 parries aren't great. They have some use, but mostly you want to use the up parry, which is a good one. This one, ignore it. Terrible move. No range, slow, no invincibility. Just don't use it. Regarding our supers, we're going to start to talk about by talking about the A+C super, which is a very particular super. Now, basically on hit, it's wall splats and it grants combo into another super. Or if you don't have bar, you can also go into a DP juggle. Well, yeah. But more importantly, it can be carried by cancelling the first 2 hits on the startup when the screen goes black. So the normal animation is this one. Sorry. Right? But if you do it fast enough, you can just basically ignore the first 2 parts if you're fast enough, which extends the range dramatically and allows combos that without the Kara are not possible. Then we have the common grab. This is a 5-frame startup. 4-frame startup. And on whiff, it actually has a little fireball pop that confuses a lot of people because they're gonna try and jump over the common grab, whether neutral or back, and they may be hit by the fireball pop. So if you're facing Xiangfei, you want to jump behind them to punish her. The level 2 is actually a 1-frame, so it can punish a lot of stuff up close. And also you have this super, which is basically only used either as a follow-up to the A+C super juggle, as we were seeing before, or to whiff punish people at distance, since it's very fast and travels horizontally very fast. Particularly useful against character with stances that cannot block when they whiff something. There's also a level 2, but it's not really used because it's fairly expensive and it's only used if you're gonna kill with it. Otherwise, people just extend the juggle for this into another juggle. Defense-wise, Xiangfei doesn't really have a lot of stuff, mostly because a lot of her tools are either slow or lack range in terms of normals. She's fairly stabby. So you have to play either proactively with things like, jump C forward and jump D, or early like stand CD to read things, or do things like, predicted DPs or use the parry into the super. Crouch D as a trip is great because you can still regulate your range, but she's not a stationary character in defense. So if you want to play Xiangfei, be sure to be ready to approach the opponent and anticipate them in their game plan. As previously mentioned, she doesn't have a lot of anti-air, so crouching C is probably one of her best normals in terms of anti-airs. And then the rest is DPs and the up parry. Other than that, stand B can work at some ranges, especially if they haven't pressed the button yet. Reversal wise, you want to use the DDP, which has some invincibility against strikes, but it is grabbable, so be careful if you're playing grapplers. You also have this super that we've seen before, which is a common grab and carries a lot of invincibility. And also you have up parry against safe jump, to wake up with, which actually makes it a little bit easier to land the parry on meaty timings. If you want a faster reversal, you can spend 3 bars for the 1 frame version of this. Xiangfei has incredible control, which allows her to transition from defense and space control to offense, mix-up and pressure very, very easily. Key to her offense is the path ball, especially when it comes to frame traps. Because there are like small gaps and the path balls are disjointed, a lot of the times if you meet the timing and your opponent rolls forward, you'll be able to punish them with crouch B, stand A into A plus C super. In general, she's a character which has amazing cross-ups with jump B and jump D. Sorry, up D and up B and up D, which allow you to extend your combos due to, you know, the closeness of the opponent. When it comes to block string and it confirms, they're almost the same. Meaning, if you do stuff like this as a combo and they block it, usually, unless they are very, very advanced, they would not be able to punish you. Because to punish that, basically you have to know pushback or rollability of each path ball and things like that. When it comes to frame traps as well, it's mostly they're mostly around the meaties of path ball, because they give you a lot of frame advantage, or close D as well. So things like that, really delaying forward A also can work as a sort of a delayed frame trap. She's not really a combo character per se, unless you have meter and you're really good with A plus C super juggles. But things like jump B into buttons into path ball are very common, things like that. Or maybe not on crouching. Yeah, she has short combos, but with jump B or up B, you're always into a range for forward and backward mix-up. More importantly, whenever you land a super, you can do a super jump C, and then your opponent will be reset and forced to take your mix-up on the ground. So you can go for another cross-up into, you know, the same conversion again. You can stay front. Also, you can delay the button. Delay the super, like this one, and you'll catch also the rolls. Or you can also go into a overhead, which you can bypass into the same option. So these mix-ups are really, really strong if you master them.